Good morning. Happy Saturday, everybody. Yes, yes. Yeah, your boy out here working, putting in that work, trying to get it all done and stuff like that, man. But either way it go when you wake up, I hope you have a wonderful day and enjoying your weekend. But with that being said, let's kind of pick up on real quick, touch back on that what I was talking about with the whole Texas rodeo. Now, the reason why this is important because again, for us older people, it's kind of like, when when you're young, your parents take care of you. You know what I'm saying? And then when your parents get old, you're supposed to take care of them, right? But the problem is that these kids are so dysfunctional. Uh, is going to be a really big concern on whether they're going to be capable of taking care of their parents, the grandparents and things of that nature, right? So, you know, uh, these kids showed up to the Texas rodeo. Now, keep in mind this is a family event, right? So that means that there's children there. So these spring break children, kids, they get there, they fighting, you know, uh, I believe that it was guns and stuff like that being shot. Um, these young girls are showing up, half naked and all these things there. And so even now, they implemented a dress code because of this very situation, not to mention allegedly uh, over 40,000 uh, people tested uh, positive for STDs and stuff like that, right? So, it's a big concern to me because it's kind of like if all this stuff is going on, what is the future going to look like for everybody? You know what I mean? You can only work for so long. You know what I mean? Before your body, shut down. What happens after that? You know what I mean? That's why I say it's so important, to uh, deal with these kids when they're very young, because once they hit that teenage point, they're gonna be hard to deal with. And that's happening right now. Then they went to Florida and they messed up everything, out there in Florida. You know what I mean? Again, gun violence, uh, young women walking around half naked, they fighting and stuff like that. So that was a big old issue. Then the carnival cruise, they went there and screwed that up. You know what I mean? And it's just sad. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of people will say, well, hey, I don't really care. It don't have nothing to do with me. My life is great. I'm not talking to you. If your life is great and you ain't having no issues and stuff like that, this video ain't for you. So, you know, you can scroll on. But I'm talking about for people, who has more concern about, when they're gonna be able to, sit back and relax and enjoy the fruits of their labors, right? It don't look like we gonna be able to do that because these kids, like I say, they toe back. But you gotta kind of, in a sense, blame the parents in a sense. This internet thing in a sense. They collecting the wrong influence. You know what I mean? So I don't know, y'all, but like I said, I just kind of wanted to give a little bit more detail about this whole little thing. Uh, I guess we're gonna see how this going how it's gonna turn out, right? All right, y'all. Hey, have a wonderful weekend, but keep in mind, positive thoughts, positive vibes. Till next time. Peace.